Welcome back, everyone. As promised, this is part 2 of the oak leaf driveway gate project, and we're going to start right off showing some of the forging that went into the large scrolls in this gate. What Chase is doing here is called upsetting. He's taking the weight of the bar and hammering it down on an anvil on the floor to upset or swell the end of the bar. This is a small detail that goes on the end of all of the main scrolls in the gate. This is the type of work we love to do, create creative work for our customers and make really unique projects. This one has definitely been exactly that. Now, even though everything you see here may not look like stainless steel, it actually is stainless steel. Once we hammer it, it looks gray and very similar to forged iron, but this is all forged stainless. The framework for the gate is all stainless steel tubing, and there's several design goals with this project. Here you can see me working on the large scroll work there. For those of you who have never visited the studio, it's located at a beautiful historic site called Principio Furnace, which was a historic iron making furnace. And so happy to be here. Such a beautiful place to create work and just be a creative artist. Been here over 20 years now, so thankful. You may recognize this anvil from a few videos back, and I have to say it worked absolutely stellar for straightening these large scrolls, because as we formed them, they sometimes got a little bit bent out of shape sideways, and we were able to take the sledgehammer and flatten them on the anvil. It worked amazing. Now, what Alan and Jared are doing here is using a variety of techniques to shape and bend these long tapers cold to create these graceful forms. You can see that we're just doing it on the anvil, and now they're on the hydraulic press using a 3-point bending die to bend these long, graceful scrolls. And in all honesty, we were supposed to be done with this project by now, but boy, my customer sent me this photo, and I am so glad that it has actually taken us a bit longer. But nonetheless, we're really trying to finish up this gate fast. You'll see a vast majority of it in today's video, and then the final conclusion in a week or so. But here you can see I'm grinding the transitions that Alan welded up. We did stainless TIG on all of this for control and strength. I'm using some disc by CGW abrasives. I have just started using this company within the past 6 months. Really happy with the quality of the grinding and Scotch-Brite disc that we've gotten from them. Now we're back to doing some more bending, and here you can see just what happens with this 3-point die. This die is very worn. It has bent hundreds of bars over the years, and but it works really fantastic. It's great for just making slow tweaks to get the curve exactly how we want it. So I keep bending it and then taking it back to the template board to check it and just see where it needs a little bit more or a little bit less. There's a little bit better look at that 3-point die. If you think about it, all bending in blacksmithing is really 3 points of contact, even if it's your hand holding it over the horn and then your hammer hitting it over the horn. Pretty much all the bending you do in blacksmith work is 3 points of contact. Yeah, Jared's back at the anvil here, and you can see using that anvil. That anvil is so nice, even just for laying these long scrolls on and fitting. It's about 50 inches long by, I think, 18 inches wide or 17 inches wide, something like that. 1,840 pounds, just really cool tool to use on this. Here we've made some progress, and there's some scrolls bent up. Here's the main bottom scroll, all bent up and welded up. We do a lot of pre-assembly on this before putting it into the framework. There's that nice swelled forged end on there. But by pre-grinding all this, it just makes it easier to load into the gate and prevents a lot of grinding once it's in there. So here, Alan again is TIG welding. We use TIG welding for strength and just control. TIG welding is an amazing process that you can just layer the stainless steel weld right on top, and great for this type of work. Here again, they're bending, and they're actually taking a little bit of the bend out by laying it back over that and hitting it from the top. Here's another look at that 3-point bending die mounted in our 15-ton shop-built hydraulic press. The tool has been awesome. There's the top main scroll. And then once all the scroll work was done and welded up, I shuffled a few things around in the shop for what would become the kind of final and main assembly. Now the guys were actually working on another railing job laying on the table, but I knew I wanted to assemble this gate on the far side, so we welded some angle iron to the steel embedded in the floor and set up kind of a jig to hold the tubing framework upright. Here you can see the scroll work all done and ready to assemble in, and now Alan and I are going to begin by placing the scroll work into the gate. We had taken some measurements on where this should be, but it was really rewarding after working on these scrolls for a couple weeks to see them finally fall into place and just begin to like really make the statement that I've envisioned for so long with these gates. Here you can also see that wide 8-inch wide tubing on the bottom. Again, that is to cover up a hydraulic opening arm for the automated opening system. But yeah, the goal at this point was just to lay the framework that everything else would be built off to get the bones of the gate all installed. Well, we have really turned a page with this project now in the fact that all of these main scrolls are welded in and added. There will still be a ton more branches that get infilled in here. And obviously all of the leaves and acorn, you can see a pile of the leaves there ready. But yeah, this is just the structural bones of it and a lot more to be added, but really cool to see this upright after staring at just a template for a long time. So now it's time to add in all of the leaves that we have forged, and I moved this table over near the gates so that I could have good access to all the leaves, and I began to sort them by size because I wanted to make sure that both sides of the gate were kind of treated equally on the infill, that one side didn't look stronger or overpower the other side. So by sorting these all out by size, I was able to get ready to infill the leaves and make it look proper. Here are all the forged leaves layout, and I believe there are 240 leaves total going into this gate, and well over 100 acorns, probably 120 acorns or so going into the gate. And it's going to make a final statement. So here I'm shaping some of the small branches to put in. And I quickly realized that I was really going to blind the guys on the other side of the shop if I didn't put up a tarp to kind of just act as a safety screen so that they didn't have to see every time I tacked a leaf in that they might get exposed to some bad arc. It's a really important safety, working multiple people in the shop and just making a good layout, safe setup, especially when we're running a couple projects at the same time. But yeah, I did most of the infill on the leaves in the sense of the layout and tacking them into the place. I am wearing a flannel in a very hot day just to protect from sunburn from the welding. Always important to protect your body as you're doing this type of work. But yeah, I just began with the larger leaves and tacking them into place. That was kind of the starting point. I tacked a lot of large leaves on one side, then went back to the other side and welded them in. Admittedly, I didn't film every leaf being tacked into place because there's so much, but you can kind of get the feel for how I'm working here. Here I am sketching one of the branches, and then I went and shaped the smaller branch pieces to go over my sketch, and then I would wind up like assembling this kind of flat on the table. It was a little bit easier sometimes to work flat on the table than it is standing upright, but I love to see what I'm doing, so that's why I have these jigged upright. Yeah, and once I have it where I want it, I'm just going and tack welding and TIG welding in all of these. Stainless TIG is really a beautiful process. Stainless is an amazing material. It TIGs up really nice, and Yeah, so you can see I'm adding the leaves and some acorns. This part of this little branch will be semi close to finished. And then once the branch is done, it's welded in. And again, it's just easier to do some of all that welding down flat on the table and the cleanup. But to get the right feel, I do go back to placing a lot of these leaves individually, always stepping back, looking, seeing if the movement of the branches is how I want it to be, and also, are we getting enough coverage? Again, these are the largest leaves that we're putting in here, but even now it just starts taking on a whole new life. Fast forward to, a bunch more leaves being added in, and I just continue to layer and infill and look and see what it needs and keep adding pieces. Okay, we're about 80% of the way through fabrication. Still a ton of leaves left. So I'm gonna pick some of these bare spots because we want this to really screen out. I'm gonna start putting this in. I love creating work like this, work that is, so textured and vibrant and alive with movement. It's really cool to see this one come together. This is pretty much where I'm going to leave you on this one. I hope to give you a final reveal in a week or two as we do the dry fit up and then do the final install on these gates. But as always, thank you for subscribing and following along on our creative journey. It's our desire to, educate and show the work that we do, show the quality and the heart that goes into it. We want our work to be a blessing to everyone that we work for. And hope you've enjoyed this video. And thanks again for following along. God bless.